Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Doc with ReadySetCrypto. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of April, and we have Banking Crisis Part 2 happening today. Well, over the past couple of days with First Republic. So this is another regional bank. People are wondering if this is the tip of the iceberg, if we have lots more of these banking crises to go, where, this is very different from the past, where in the past, it would be, it takes a lot of effort to go in and withdraw your funds to make a bank run, right? So the old bank run, just like the old Jimmy Stewart movies, where people would make a bank run, but they'd have to go down to the bank and request the funds, which they didn't have because we're on fractional reserve system. So now you can just get your app, and there's a maximum withdrawal per day, but you can sit there and hit that thing as many times as you want to. So it's a very, very different world in that. So these regional banks are having trouble. So why do we care about that? Because crypto is rocking and rolling today. All right. So I'm going to go down to the chart. We can see BTC has been a recipient of this. We saw the same thing happen back here in mid-March, where it was clear that some of these banks were not going to make it. And so BTC, after all these years, finally, this is starting to realize some of the promise of being an independent monetary system, which is different and, runs by itself. All right, so welcome aboard, everybody. Good to see everybody checking in out there. Let me know where you're coming in from today, what your location is, and go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to do a very short session today. We're not even going to make it to half an hour because I've got some other trading account activity to accomplish this afternoon. And so we'll probably be out of here at about 20 minutes after. So it's going to be a short, abbreviated session. It will go on as long as you guys have coins for me to look at. If you want me to take a look at certain coin pairs, I'd be happy to do that. For right now, really what we're seeing is across the board here, we're about 5% on BTC. Now, keep in mind, obviously this was a highly shorted move. Everybody's looking for the price to go lower here. We do have gaps still down around 20,000 with a CME. What I would say right now is this is a Darvas box here. This is a 4,000 point Darvas box. So if we see the price breaking above 31,000, we have to believe it, right? We can't just say, well, that's fake. No, that's a higher high. That's a breakout to a higher high. We have to go with that. We have to believe it, especially if it's on decent volume. So watch the volume on the breakout. If there's no volume on the breakout, then I would not believe it. I would expect the price to crumble back down, similar to this breakout here, which did not make it. On the other hand, if we see the price undercutting this level down here at 27, then what that creates is a lower high. That's a lower high, and probably we are heading back down to about the 25,000 level. All right, who do we got here? We got Fishing Cali checking in, CH checking in. Hey, Jack from Darwin. We have Tyler. Your wife wants a shout out. Hey, Tyler. Genevieve. We have Buckhorn from Little Rock, Arkansas. Fantastic. All right, you've been here before. So that's what I'm seeing for BTC right now. So we have 4,000 point range. This is what's called a Darvas box, like I said, so we can make decisions based on whether it breaks higher or breaks lower. I still think if this banking crisis goes away quickly, then this could create a bull trap. Ultimately, I think it would be a good thing for the price to come down to 25,000. For prices to go higher, you've got to have that negativity. You've got to have everybody convinced that it's dead, it's done, it's over, this is a 2019 moment. Those kind of things, right? You've got to have negativity combined with institutional involvement, that is what gets the short squeeze going. That's what getting things started today, but there's no guarantee it's going to hand the baton off to a bunch of whales and take this thing above 31,000. So that's what's going on right now. Ultimately, I think it would not be a bad thing, like I said, for the price to come down to 25,000, to reload down at that level. And see, the thing that I'm looking for right now is we have not created a monthly higher low. What this is the monthly chart. The monthly chart is sitting out here like this, and you can see this move off of 2021, the 21 highs, that's a lower high. Guess what this is? This is another lower high. This is no different. These two are identical right now. These are identical. For this to create the type of move that we want to see, which creates something like this, then what we've got to do is we have to have the price go down from here. You've got to set the hook with a higher low, and then we get the movement. Prices don't go higher forever. You've got to have this sort of sawtooth movement. You've got to have balance in that. You've got to build up the negativity to the point where everybody is convinced, the majority are convinced that this thing is dead, and then it rips. Okay? So a breakout above 31,000, okay, that's great, but it's not really producing that higher low that we really want. Once we put in that monthly higher low, then we are all in green. We are all in green. We're going to be buying the dip on anything and everything that moves. We have Math coming in from Seattle, Washington, and Steven is coming in from the United States. Awesome. I myself am coming to you guys live from Greenville, South Carolina, and it's cold and wet today. It's been a cold and wet spring. We had, I think we had warmer temperatures back in February than what we're seeing right now. So waiting for summer to come. But we really had a really wimpy winter. So it was great. I love it. I love wimpy winters. So there we go. That's BTC. And I'm looking for you guys, East Side High School grad here. All right. Awesome. I've only been down here for 3 years. So I am a, what do they call that? Come y'all come down here and mess up the roads and everything. Oh, there are so many people down. It's like a plague, right? Us people from Ohio coming down to South Carolina, they hate it. All right. Math is putting a request in. Yeah, beautiful day in Seattle for a change. CFX on KuCoin. All right, so I'm going to go straight into that. We'll go out to the daily chart, and we'll look for CFX over here. So I am using TradingView, which is what all of you should be using, CFX. And we're going to look for KuCoin down here if we can find it. There we go. Conflux on Tether. So let's look for Conflux on Tether. Let's move this in a little bit. Okay, this is one that we have been talking about. And I think probably the last time that we talked math was a couple of weeks ago. We have this trend line here. As long as it holds a trend line, that's okay. But you got to be careful here because this is a lower high, number one. Number one, it's a lower high. Number two, it's actually trading below the anchored VWAP from the March low. So that's being used as resistance right now. The yellow line is considered institutional resistance right now. Now, there is institutional support down here on the anchored VWAP from the beginning of the year. So we could have the price coming down to about 25 cents and pivoting off of that. But I would be very careful if this prints a lower high and then undercuts the trend line. Okay, you might want to sell first and ask questions later, look for a re-entry on something like that. Okay, guys, let me know if there's any other coins that you want me to look at here today. Otherwise, I'm just going to do a very short abbreviated session for today's. I've got some trading activities to do. I got some trades to adjust before the equities market close at 4 o'clock. Stops in place. Outstanding. Stephen, doesn't it seem like the U.S. Treasury is cannibalizing the regional banks by offering higher 3-year rates that they can't compete with? Thoughts? Probably right. Probably right. They're forcing them to sell assets that they already I mean, this is what happened to Silicon Valley Bank. They were buying long-term rates that were paying off very low, right? And so they ended up swapping those. They were forced to sell those at a huge loss. And this is what's happening with it. The issue is when you do a bank run, when you pull assets out of a bank, all of a sudden they've got to pay for those assets with something. So they end up selling things at a huge loss to be able to cover that. And it just becomes a huge problem. So you got to realize that all banks are somewhat of a Ponzi scheme, right? It is a Ponzi scheme. The fractional reserve system is a Ponzi scheme. Basically, I think the latest number I heard was they're using your money basically 9 times. They're rotating it 9 times before you ever get to the point of getting it back out of there. That's what banks do. They use your money. They pay you a very small percentage of interest on it for the right to you. Or in my case, my bank charges me $15 a month if I don't keep a minimum balance on it. So I think what we're going to find is from all of this, eventually this whole system, this whole fractional reserve system will not make it through this. It will blow up because people will find different alternatives. And this is how things happen. This is how industries get disrupted. Can I explain? All right. My wife wants a shout out. So shout out to Maureen out there. Maureen. We call her Mo. Hey, Mo. Hey, can you explain how VWAP works? That is the volume weighted average price. And it is what institutions will use. So it's not a moving average. It's not a moving average. What I would do is I would Google that, right? But what you want to do is you're going to anchor that. How we do it is we anchor that to something. So if we go to settings on these VWAPs, what we're going to look for is a start calculation. This is where we're going to anchor it from. And we're going to anchor it from either an important date like the beginning of the year, or what we can do is we can anchor it to an important low. We can anchor things to an important high, right? So we can copy this one. Let's see, we're just going to copy this one. Let's see where we can do that here. Yep, we're going to copy that and paste that in. So we're going to add another anchored VWAP into the 19th of March. So we're going to set this one to the 19th of March. And that's the important high, in this case for Conflux. And then let's give it a different color other than yellow. Let's call it like this red color, pink, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And there we go. So this is now an institutional high watermark for resistance. And these things really do come into play. These things really do come into play. There's a book that just came out, it's not the cheapest thing, but it's written by Brian Shannon. And it's about anchored VWAP. And I've started to use this, and I'm really amazed how often these VWAPs come into play. And they're used not only with longer time frame charts, but also shorter time frame intraday charts as well too. So anchored VWAP, this is something that institutions do watch, as well as things like the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Okay, anybody else have any questions or any other coins that you guys want to look at? Any other questions or coins you want to look at? Otherwise, we're going to do a really short session. I'm just going to look at maybe the top 10 here and let you guys go. I got things to do. All right, let's look at Ethereum. What's happening with Ethereum? It is bouncing off of, and so like this one, I don't want this. I'm going to get rid of this upper anchored VWAP. We don't need that one because that's not anchored off of anything. Now, I can't anchor off of the recent highs over here if I wanted to. I don't really care about that, though. We can see the same type of confluence here with a 50-day moving average as well as the anchored VWAP off of the March 10 low, and that's providing support at 1,800 on Ethereum. Caspa. All right, Stephen, looking at Caspa. Let's see. All right, Caspa versus Tether. Let's look at this on one of these two. This is actually a pretty good looking chart, and notice how it's bouncing off the 50-day moving average. This is what I like to see. I like to see this consolidation. This is an ascending triangle setting up here, breaking higher. There's the that's the March bank run. Okay, this is a larger time frame consolidation. This is a weekly bull flag. So if we go out to the weekly chart, we can see how this is just simply just more of a pullback, right? It's a pullback on the weekly chart. And actually, if we pull up a fib on this, we can see that this fib retracement on the weekly chart is probably going to come to a well-known fib level, which is at 50%. So happens all the time. Watch your fibs. Fibs are very important on this stuff. Okay, so this is a good looking chart. I mean, it's what I would say though is watch this trend line. Watch this trend line that goes from here down through here. It looks like it's breaking out today. But it's going to have to go above 3.6 cents. It's going to have to break above this line. Otherwise, this is going to continue setting up as just another lower high. But right now, looking pretty good. This is one of the better looking charts that's out there. Okay, guys, I'll be around here for about another 5 minutes or so if you want. If there's any coins you want me to look at, otherwise I'll keep just looking through the top 10 here. This is Binance Coin. Binance Coin has bounced off of support. Hex, Render, and A. Okay, we'll take a look at Hex. Hex has been improving as of late. All right, let's look at Hex versus USDC. Oh, we just lost some support on this one. All right, so it's still above the 200, but it's still not working in Confluence. So I don't know if it's because of the cost basis here, the swap versus Ethereum. And that could be part of the problem, because if you're running a swap with Ethereum, Ethereum has been strong as well too, so it's going to affect the cost basis of this. All right, Render. Render token. Let's look at Render token on KuCoin. That one looks amazing. Wow. This is a cup with handle pattern. There's your cup. There's your handle. This is the measured move. Here's the measured move right there. So you can append this number. So whatever this number ends up being, this depth of this cup, you can append that to the breakout line here. So that's about 1.2. It's about 1.2. So that would be a 3.4 upper managed or extended move. Measured move. That's what I'm looking for. That's Render. And A, I don't know what A is. Let's see what A is. I don't know what A, is there a coin just named A? Seb? Oh, AGIX. Okay, so you you said it before you finished typing. All right, so AGIX does not look really, does not look very good at this point. AGIX does not look very good. It's trending under the VWAPs. It is not above the 200-day moving. It's below the 50-day. So AGIX would be a void. Okay, Rocket Exchange. And this is going to be our last one for today, I believe. Rocket. Seb, is that a different coin, or is that something you're just looking for the Rocket Exchange for AGIX? All right, let's do INJ. INJ versus Tether. All right, wow, this one looks really good too. So this is a very nice looking coin. What I like is how this one is showing this very characteristic higher highs and higher lows, consolidating, ripping, larger time frame pullback, and it's still making it, it's still working off of this looks really, really good. It's a nice looking chart in accumulation. Okay, last one, RVF, and then I've got to go, guys. RVF, USDT, okay, there we go. Rocket Vault Rocket X. Okay, so there we go. Not bad. Not a bad looking chart. This one looks the same as the one before it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just, at the beginning of the show, I showed Republic Bank stock shutting down. So, all right, yeah, this one looks fine. This one looks fine. Okay, so thank you very much, Drupka. All right, guys. Hey, I've got to run. I've got some trading activities to do. I just wanted to connect with you guys and run some coins here. So thanks, everybody, for checking it out. And if you're looking for a place to hang out, come meet me at ReadySetCrypto.ONE, readysetcrypto.ONE. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for everybody for walking by, joining us, and for the great chats. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week. Take care.